Hello. आले लोग. Am I audible and visible, Sharayu? येता आहे. Sharayu, am I audible and visible as well? Some of the people, yes. Let's wait for like 2 minutes and then we will start. Watch party आगे. Hi, Baba.
नेचर ऑफ द पेपर जा आणि ते वॉच पार्टी चालू केली तिला
तू दिसतेस ना
तुला दिसते? कोणाचा तरी मला मेसेज आला आहे.
तिथे म्यूट करायचं तिथे म्यूट करायचं.
नेचर ऑफ द पेपर वाचलं
I hope it's fine. We wait till 6:10. Let the people who are coming in join and we'll start with the session. श्रोता, माझ्या सगळ्या मेसेजेसला लाईव्ह लिंक पाठव. सांग नेचर ऑफच्या पेजवरून जा. 08052. नाही, नेचर वॉक आउटडोअर्सच्या पेजवर वॉच पार्टी चालू केली आहे. इन्स्टा आणि फेसबुक. Okay, I think let's start. Hi everyone, a very good evening from me to you all. I hope you are safe, you're fine, and you all are at home. I know that we are all somewhere very stressed or maybe going through a feeling that when will this all get over. But before starting with my talk, yeah, definitely this is going to end soon. So without much further ado, I'll begin with my introduction first. I hope I'm audible. Please let me know if there are any issues you're facing or I am not audible. Please comment so that I will come to know. So today, my first of all, my name is Harshada Sunil Abhyankar. Currently, I am pursuing BA degree, Bachelor of Arts in Saint Xavier's College, Mumbai, and I would be doing my TY, that is my majors in economics. But since last 8 years, I have been working in the field of environment. So I work with a NGO called Nature Walk Charitable Trust. You can definitely go to our pages, Facebook page, and even on Instagram, Nature Walk Outdoors. So you will come to know about our activities. We are into wildlife camping. We are also into nature and environment education, and various programs are being conducted by us. And I got to know about nature, about wildlife, and about environment in general from this trust, and I have been working with them since long, so I would try to share some knowledge which I have received all these years with you today. But and also you can join us for our various activities via our Friday katta. Then we have a Sunday katta wherein we have different screenings, we have different lectures, we have different workshops and activities arranged. So the and also I am very very grateful to Vada Sabha. SP College is my 11th 12th college, and it gave me a platform to discover myself, my passion for debating elocution. So thank you so much, Vada Sabha. It's a great pleasure to come back here, and especially when we are doing it in collaboration with Nature Walk, this is really really special. So without any further ado, let's begin. So today the topic which I am going to discuss with you all is hashtag nature rebooting. From last many days, like since I guess 17th March, Maharashtra went into lockdown, and since 22nd March, the entire nation went into a lockdown, and the lockdown is still continuing. So during this lockdown, there were various things which changed. Of course, our lives did change, but along with that, very beautiful, wonderful change that happened around us was nature. And hence, the title of my talk today is hashtag nature rebooting. Basically, what is rebooting? Something that is coming back to normal. Now, everyone must be in a question that weren't we normal when we were like doing our daily course before the lockdown? But maybe what we were going through during our normal lives was abnormal when we considered nature, environment in itself. So today we are going to discover about what is exactly nature going through and what are the different changes which have been observed worldwide. But of course, I'm going to keep India into focus, and I'm going to talk about advantages and disadvantages. And at the end of the talk, we would be also discussing about what can be done to keep up with whatever is seen right now, the changes which are seen in the nature right now. So, in order to brief the talk in very basic thing, the first thing is that humans are locked, but animals, environment is getting unlocked. I guess sitting at home, you all must have taken some efforts to connect to nature. For some, it would have been a compulsion, and for some, it would have been all these years you never got time. But today, you have this time, so you are able to connect to nature. Many people are connecting via doing more gardening activities. They are growing their own veggies, they are growing their own microgreens, they are making homemade fertilizers. They are trying to put up bird feeders so they can attract many different variety of birds. They are trying to plant various flowering plants which are good for pollinators like bees, birds, butterflies, many of them. Apart from this, I am sure many of you must have taken an effort to at least capture a sunrise or a sunset in your day. So, while moving ahead, I would first like to tell you that Corona or coming of COVID-19 into our lives was a big break or a big halt which is being experienced by Mother Earth as well. And exactly 100 years ago from today, that was in 1920, world was passing through a pandemic as well. And yeah, of course, before this, we had pandemics like H1N1, Ebola, then there was Nipah virus which came. But all this wasn't that big like COVID 19. But exactly 100 years ago, in 1920, the world was undergoing the Spanish flu pandemic. And Spanish flu pandemic killed millions of people. So, is it there a kind of pattern which is being observed in pandemics? We need to think about that. And second thing, as the human race is advancing, we are getting new technologies, we are moving to the era of artificial intelligence. Are we making the frequency greater of these pandemics coming? Like, is the next pandemic going to come in next 50 years? And then maybe the later generations will get it at a period of 25 years? We need to think about that. So this Spanish flu claimed over 100 million lives, and now we are all aware about corona. But when we are being told that stay safe, stay home, nature is taking this as an opportunity to reboot itself. And very positive changes are being taken place. The first positive change, which you all must have observed, is that the pollution levels have gone down drastically. Like the sulfur oxides in the air, nitrogen oxides in the air have gone down drastically. And that has helped to the smog levels which were being experienced all over the country, like even in fact all over the world, to go down. Along with air pollution, even the water pollution is being reduced because industries are shut and there is no any wastewater that is being let out in our water bodies. And also there is low soil pollution, low noise pollution, and also there is something called as light pollution. It is also being decreased to some amount. So while giving an example about water pollution, recently there was a news in The Hindu which claimed that the pollution levels of many freshwater bodies in Bangalore has decreased to a considerable level. So now the Karnataka State Pollution Board is telling people or the authorities that get into this, check out what is the actual reason for pollution in these water bodies, and also try to implement such measures which would continue with this practice even after the lockdown. So as we go to the end of the lecture, we all have to keep in mind that let's try to maintain these practices which we are experiencing right now. Maybe we started with those practices unknowingly, but those practices are helping nature and we have to at least try to maintain them even after the lockdown. You must have all seen the videos which are going viral all over the WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And these videos were like portraying certain wild animals which came out during the lockdown. You must have seen that famous video wherein the Indian small palm civet came out on roads in Kozhikode. Or even there were certain sambar deers which came in central India in the urban spaces. Then there were videos which were showing that there were some rhinoceros, one-horned rhino, which came out in Assam, and it was like going in the gardens of different bungalows and different buildings. So here, I would like to tell you that these are not the changes which are happening today. The wild animals, wildlife was always there. We are the ones who are intruding into their spaces. So these infrastructures which we have built up today, the cement jungles which are coming up everywhere, this is something which we have created. So what did lockdown help us? Lockdown help us the artificial man-made world to come to a stop, to get it shut, and the natural world got an opportunity to relive or to be there where it was originally. Assam was always known to have one-horned rhinoceros. Even the palm civet was always there in Kozhikode. But our roads, our buildings, our infrastructure have disturbed them. You must have heard about these news which keep on coming, that big cats like tigers, lions, leopards were observed on national highways during night times, because these animals are used to coming on roads when the human activity is quite low, and the human activity is low only during the night time. So it's better if we keep this activity low even during the daytime, so that wildlife can get a good corridor to keep on their movements. Claiming that the animals are nocturnal or these animals are diurnal is not going to help us. Animals were always there, but we have to see to it that we don't come in between them. The second very interesting observation I would like to share with you all was that the bees population, honey bees, leafcutter bees, wasp, has increased very, very rapidly during the lockdown periods. So there was one report which was published by BBC. They claimed that they let go the grass grow on the sides of roads, where initially they used to cut it because they wanted to keep their pavements clean for people to walk on it. But then they observed that when they let the trees and grasses grow, there was a healthy population of bees which was growing. And yes, bees are considered to be keystone species which help in existence of humans. So if the population of bees continues to dwindle at the same rate at which it was dwindling before the lockdown, humans are going to extinct in no time. So this is a very interesting observation which is being made by the experts all over the world. And a very basic observation which was shared by one of the famous scientists who is a botanist as well, ecologist, named Sachin Punekar. Today morning when I was interacting with him, he told me that if you even go on Tirak Road in Pune, Sadashivpet, you will observe small herbs and shrubs coming up at the edge of the footpaths which are there on the road. So what does this suggest? This is suggesting that nature was already there, but your high pollution levels, dirt, particulate matter which is there in the air is not helping it to strive and to live in the way which it was living. So increase in population of bees is something which we need to continue, because 70%, almost 70 to 80% of food which we are eating today is because of the bees. Because bees help in great pollination, and because of this pollination we are able to get the food from crops and various trees. So this is going to help us in a long way. So it would be good if there is a policy implementation at this level. We have some plans coming up which would suggest bee conservation, honeybees conservation, and would help in the future as well. The reduced carbon emissions which are being observed all over the world has helped to have a greater eyesight. Like, I guess most of the people from Pune must have observed this, that if you go into your terraces, if you go into your balconies, and especially the ones who are living in 5-floor buildings, 6-floor buildings, are able to observe Sinhagad and even Parvati from their terraces. And I think we should consider this. This is a very, very good observation that we are able to make, because all these years we never observed Sinhagad from our terraces, our buildings. So pollution levels are dropping down very, very drastically. And this is the reason why many of the European countries have opted for opening wide cycle roads or cycleways, cycle paths, where people are preferring cycling. And how is cycling helping us? Cycling is helping us by keeping away, helping us to achieve our goal of maintaining social distancing, and also it is helping the nature to have low carbon emissions, to have low pollution levels, and also it is very sustainable. It's also helping us to keep ourselves healthy. So this is the way we can go about sustainability, and also we need to analyze what was there before, what is there now, and are we supposed to judge that what was there first is not normal? What we are going to start with next after the lockdown is something that is going to be normal. So this is the first thing which I wanted to share with you all. Now, when we come to very positives of nature, The very basic positive which you have been observing around you is that seasonal plants are growing very well. You will see your plants to be very healthy. The dust which collects on the plant leaves is going to be very low. There is going to be nesting which is going to be taking place all over your premises. And these nesting sites are going to be undisturbed because there is no going to be honking, no horns, no people on the road, no unnecessary speaking, no unnecessary loud speaking. So all this is going to help nature. And we have to keep in mind that we have to go on with these practices. And these seasonal plants which are coming up right now, very basic example, mogra. So mogra is a flowering plant which is going to attract your bees. Even hibiscus is going to be flowering on a big scale. All these plants will help your butterflies, bees to get attracted. What initially was happening, the world was going through something called as collapse colony disorder. What is a collapse colony disorder? So adult bees are getting dead on a rapid rate. Why is this happening? Because due to high pollution levels, bees, insects are not able to sense the scent of the flowers where they have to reach in order to get good nectar, good pollen grains. So now as the pollution levels are low, bees are able to reach the flowers. They are able to reach the pollen grains and they are able to carry that nectar, carry that pollen grains to long distances. And this is going to help us into pollination, and also this is going to help us to increase our trees around us, green covers around us. But this will only happen if we continue with the practices which are being naturally come into a cycle during the lockdown. But is it that nature is only going through these positive changes throughout the lockdown? No. Every coin has two sides. One side was where the nature is going to be very positive. It is going to give you positive vibes. Nature is going to have very positive changes. But the second side of it is something which is very disturbing, or something that is we need to think about. It's very thought provoking. What is the second side? There were certain news which were coming in our newspapers, or maybe now newspapers are shut. So we were reading online that the poaching of animals has increased to an extent. When we are coming, or when we are considering Maharashtra in sense, the cases which were reported of poaching or hunting are very, very low, right? I had a discussion with Chief Wildlife Warden, Mr. Nitin Kakodkar, in the morning itself. He told me that there have been only 3 incidences or 3 cases which have been reported till now since the lockdown has begun. What were the 3 cases? In one of the villages, there was an attempt to kill a pangolin. In the second case, there was an attempt to kill a shekru. Shekru is our state animal. Shekru, also known as flying squirrel. And the third attempt was where a leopard got trapped by mistake. Initially, the animal trap was set up by the tribals or by the local community or by the other we can say other poachers or the people who are on hunting activities to kill a wild boar, but unfortunately a leopard got trapped into it, but then those people released that leopard. When we are considering Maharashtra, the cases are very, very low, but we need to also think on these lines that there were 3 cases which took place. But when you go to India-wide findings, there has been increased chinkara hunting all over Rajasthan. Now, why is this happening? What are the reasons why is there increase in poaching of animals all over the world? Like even if you read some reports from Africa, or even if you read some reports from Latin America, like countries like Colombia, Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay, even in Africa, countries like Kenya, Nigeria, Ethiopia, countries which are having large green covers or grassland. Why is the poaching of animals increasing? The animal poaching is increasing day by day because tourism has been shut due to Corona or COVID-19. Now, tourism, you will say, how does tourism help? Anyways, tourism is proving to be very fatal for nature. It is causing disturbance to the nature. But we have to take this in consideration when we go as tourists, when we are into the jungles to watch animals, to enjoy the environment, to enjoy the jungles. We also have to think that we are acting as a third eye on the nature. So if you go into jungles, all the jungles have their forces. So if you see the hierarchy, especially in India, when it comes to the forest department, we have many forest workers, forest guards, forest range forest officers, we have chief wildlife wardens, we have chief conservator of forest, we have deputy conservator of forest who are working, and then there is something called as STPF, which is being set up by the forest department, called as Special Tiger Protection Force. So what are all these people doing? Along with helping the local communities and protecting our jungles, these people are also keeping jungles safe and secure from illegal activities like poaching or even extraction of natural products from the protected areas. But usually during the tourist season, these bodies or these people don't go much in the tourism areas for patrolling, because it is assumed that when tourists are inside, there is unknowingly an eye being kept on these areas where the poaching activities or any illegal activities happening are very less in probability. But nowadays, very rigorous functions, very rigorous drills are being conducted all over in Maharashtra or even India, for because these people now also have to cover the tourism areas which were initially covered by the tourists. So even though we say that tourism is disturbing nature, tourism is disturbing the wildlife, tourism is also helping wildlife. It is also helping to bring down the rate of illegal activities like poaching, deforestation, extraction of natural products. But if you check that hunting, poaching, which is being taking place to certain extent, like not a very high extent, but to certain extent, these activities were taking place initially as well before the lockdown. But what we have to consider is there a spike in these activities during the lockdown period? So many people are losing on their jobs. So maybe there can be a policy level implementation where there are different forces which are being formed by the forest department. For example, in Maharashtra police, we have something called as police mitra, wherein there is lack of police force, then common people go and help the police. In the same way, forest department is forming something called as green army, that is Harita Sena. So Harita Sena can be used for such purposes and to curb poaching activities. Along with poaching, all over the world, there is also an increase in illegal mining and also an increase in deforestation. If you check certain reports by BBC or any other authorities, the illegal, the deforestation which is taking place, just a minute, Baba, charger. Deforestation which is taking place is on a very high scale. So there are certain scientists who are saying that illegal deforestation which is taking place in the jungles of Amazon is going to be something that is irreversible. And why is it happening? Because many people from the cities who initially had jobs are now returning due to economic slowdown in their respective villages. And when they are going to their respective villages, certain findings state that there is no economic activities which are happening in those villages. So how will people get money? How will people get their basic earning? And in order to get basic earnings, they need to work. But now, when there is no work that is available for the people, they are resorting to very basic activities or very primitive activities from where the human race originally began, that is hunting. So in Africa, it is reported that the killing of animals for bushmeat has increased, because bushmeat is something which is going to give you food in very easier manner. You no need to earn. There is no need to earn, but just go hunt and eat it. So when we are looking at this can be a scenario in India in coming few months, because when people are returning back, we need to ensure that they get some kind of income, they get some kind of economic earnings so that they won't resort to such activities. Because locals living around and in around the protective areas, tribals which are living around the protective areas, have their activities based completely on the jungles. If you need to protect the jungles, you need to give an earning, you need to give a purpose, you need to give some economic backing to these communities, and the conservation or even preservation of environment, animals, wildlife can take place only if local communities are helping you. You and me sitting in the city can't help the forest to be conserved. So the localized, the communities who are living in and around forests are needed for this kind of conservation. So yeah, there are positive changes in nature happening, but at the same time, you have to consider these changes as well. Illegal mining, illegal deforestation, which needs to be curbed. In India, still the rate is very low, but in countries like in African countries, in Latin American countries, this is what is the scenario. So in not to have any such things happening in India, we need policy level implementations. One more very interesting, I would say, but a very sad observation I felt was 2 days ago, I read an article in The Hindu. It said that a locust swarm, I hope you know what locust swarm is. So, insects like grasshopper, they start moving in crowds of thousands and in swarms of thousands and lakhs, and they keep on destroying your farmlands. If especially if there is a new harvest that is coming, they destroy those. So so this swarm, which is coming towards India, has started around in January from East Africa, and it has passed over the Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq countries, and now it's approaching towards India. But during the lockdown, Rajasthan government was not able to take those measures, and now the swarm has reached. Am I audible? Please comment and let me know if I am audible. Okay, so the swamp has reached Rajasthan, and the government is looking that during the lockdown, how we can stop the locust swarm from entering the fields in India. So such kind of changes or such kind of drawbacks are also there when we are in the lockdown. But yeah, I think we should first look at the positive changes. We should first find out how we can continue with those positive changes, and then we can have solutions for how not to have negative changes on this. So, last but not the least, one more thing. These were the positives and the negatives which I wanted to bring in front of you. But I would suggest that first look at the positives and then we can go to the negatives. Many of the time, the negatives which we are observing are going to need policy level implementations. Like I said, there is going to be a need of very deep, unique kind of research everywhere. So maybe when I'm talking about bees, there need to be a research which is very bee centric. When I'm talking about the locust swarm moving from East Africa till India, now it's almost reached the Bhilwara district of Rajasthan. Of course, now the government is taking measures. Now it's going to spray the necessary pesticides and stuff. But all this needs a good policy implementation, and then the mitigation policies should be implemented in such a way which will show long term effects. Like the lockdown is somewhere suggesting us that yes, what you are experiencing right now, if you continue with the same, is going to be long term. And we should always take into consideration that whatever happens for a short term period is not useful in the long term. So if human race wants to be alive, wants to be sustained till the end and avoid extinction at a faster speed, we need to take into consideration that these practices need to go a long way. So after this, after putting in front of you the positives and the negatives of what nature is going through right now, last I would like to say about is we need to have some good stringent future rules and regulations. Yeah, definitely. When we are going to come out of this lockdown, I know that we all are going to go through a different kind of mindset. We all are going to be somewhere. I want to get out. I want to get out of these four rooms. But yeah, we also need to consider what nature is going through. Last but not the least, there are certain while we have last 5 minutes, I would like to put in certain facts which I observed that if there is a reduction in rainforest cover on earth, or if there is a reduction in tropical forest cover on earth, these viruses which are usually living in such forest areas are going to find new hosts, and those new hosts which are easy to live in are humans. So if there is destruction of nature, though destructive factors from the nature are going to come to humans. So the zoonotic diseases which are seen right now, like Ebola, Nipah virus, even COVID-19 is said to have its origin from animals. That is, there were discussions which were proving that COVID came from bats, then it came to pangolins, and then pangolins brought it to humans. This is going to increase if original habitats of animals is going to be disrupted. So in order to have less zoonotic diseases, we need to conserve forests, we need to conserve rainforests, we need to have conservation of tropical forest covers. And one more thing, now reduced fuel prices all over the world due to economic slowdowns, economic ups and downs is going to increase cruise traffic, and this is going to have an effect on marine ecology as well. So when we are looking at development, when we are looking at economy, we also have to look at what is ecology about. We need to remember one thing, that if humans are there, then only there is economy, then only there is political, then only there is politics. If we are not there, there is nothing. So what makes your economy is we humans. And what are we humans made of? From where do we come is nature. So first conserve the nature, and then let's go and save our economy. Last, while I end my talk and we move to question and answer session, if you people have any question, any examples to share, definitely. But when I end my talk, I want to recite a poem which I guess got viral all over Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp. And I guess it's something which is really we need to think about. And after this talk, I want you all that analyze yourself where we are and where we want to go. And I think in that thought process, you will get answers for most of your questions. And the poem is something which really made me think that where was I? So I think it helps you all as well. I will recite the poem and then we all move to the question and answer sessions. So the poem is written by a poet named Harun Rashid. And in, I guess, when India was going through lockdown 2.0, that is, I guess, from 15th April to 3rd of May, that time this poem was released. So I will read it out and definitely give it a thought. We fell asleep in one world and woke up in another. We fell asleep in one world and woke up in another. Suddenly, Disney is out of magic. Paris is no longer romantic. New York doesn't stand up anymore. The Chinese wall is no longer a fortress, and Mecca is empty. Hugs and kisses suddenly become weapons, and not visiting parents and friends becomes an act of love. Hugs and kisses suddenly become weapons, and not visiting parents and friends becomes an act of love. Suddenly you realize the power, beauty, and money are worthless and can't get you the oxygen you're fighting for. Suddenly you realize that power, beauty, and money are worthless and can't get you the oxygen you're fighting for. The world continues its life and it is beautiful. It only puts humans in cages. I think it's sending us a message. You are not necessary. You in the sense, the humans. You are not necessary. The air, water, and sky without you are completely fine. When you come back from the lockdown, remember that you are my guest and not my masters. You are my guest and not my masters. I guess last line is something which we all need to consider, that we are nature's guest and not its masters. If humans start considering that they are equal and even like all other living organisms on earth, we are earthlings at the last, there would be a drastic change in our attitudes and it would be for our greater good. With that, I end my talk. I would welcome any kind of feedbacks, any kind of questions, or any kind of facts you would want to know from me. Any questions or anything you want to share or you want to know, like what you can read during the lockdown related to nature, related to environment?
Nature walk for question.
वाट्सअपवर दिसलं का?
Nine.
हा?
Nine.
का? हो.
Okay, so right now, just adding to what I was talking, till the time someone has any questions, I would like to give some suggestions regarding, if you have not built up the liking for nature, if you have not built up the liking for environment, definitely there are certain things which would allow you to go near to nature, go and read what nature wants to tell you. Nature Walk Charitable Trust during the lockdown started with its first ever podcast series, Echoes of the Indian Jungles. And the podcast series is available on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and Anchor. So definitely go to it. The podcast is a series of 10 episodes wherein different wildlife experts, photographers, enthusiasts have shared their experiences directly from the jungles. Also, there are various interesting series which are taking place. There was an initiative which was taken up by Tadoba Andhari Tiger Reserve, that they took up something called as live safaris. So you can also go to their YouTube channel and check out the live safaris. They are streaming every single day. Also, one of my friend is suggesting that there is a BBC Earth documentary which is being narrated by very well-known stalwart Sir David Attenborough. You can also go through that series. Planet Earth name series is there on, I guess, Netflix or Amazon. You can also go and check it out. And don't forget to stay tuned with Vada Sabha. Vada Sabha definitely comes up with very interesting things, very interesting sessions, and also to get more close to nature, to get more close to environment, wildlife, and to get to know what we are living with and what we want to live with. Definitely tune in to Nature Walk, and we are there on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm open for questions now again. If you have any questions, or else let's wait for 5 minutes and let's end the session. I am getting certain questions from certain people. I would add more to it. So some of the people are asking that the forest dwellers economy in India, that is the sales of MFPS and NTFPS, are majorly affected in this lockdown. Can you add more on the solution on recovery of these tribes? Yes, the government is definitely working on different solutions for tribals, and there are many foundations like the Last Wilderness Foundation, which is being running a project called as Walk for Pardhis in Central Indian landscape. This is helping tribes to some extent. Also, there was a help rendered by Nature Walk, Wildlife Unlimited, and Jividha organizations, wherein during the lockdown, the tribes and the local communities shouldn't go through any kind of difficult times. We have rendered them help, monetary help, wherein they can sustain to this season, which is a peak season for tourism, but still they can live their lives on good terms. The second question, which I am getting a question from Miss Anuja Zawalkar ma'am. She says, can you tell us something about the book Silent Spring written by Rachel Carson? Oh, okay. Ma'am, I'm really sorry. I haven't heard of this book, but I would like to definitely look at it. And if at all I am able to analyze it, I'll definitely get back to you. One more question, which I got was, someone is asking me if I am a student of ecology or environment science. No, I am not a student of ecology or environment science. Like I mentioned, I am currently studying economics, and I would be studying economics in St. Xavier's College, Mumbai. I am in my third year because exams got cancelled of SY, so I am directly promoted like many others in TY. I am not a student of ecology, but I am very enthusiastic and passionate about environment and nature, so I am into it. And one more question which I got was, I read yesterday that even the Amphan was a result of warming and such cyclones will be more common. Okay, so while we discuss about Amphan, that is recently a very big cyclone which has struck our states of Orissa, Jharkhand, and even West Bengal very hard. I read the reports which said that Amphan struck at the level of 150 kilometers per hour was the wind speed. So I would suggest that, or I would rather say that either making opinions about whether cyclone was a result of global warming or other human destructive activities, I can't really think on those lines, because cyclones or hurricanes is something which is coming every year, like not of this magnitude, but something which is happening along the way every year before the monsoon. Definitely, Amphan was of very big intensity, very high magnitude, but such cyclones keep on coming. Like last 10 years, we had one cyclone which was named Alia or something like that. But rather than stating if it was because of global warming, rather we can have measures which would have lowered the effect of Amphan on us. For example, if you have a good mangrove cover on your coastlines, mangroves help to absorb the shock which is coming from these cyclones and hurricanes, which then allow these cyclones and hurricanes to approach the land on a very less speed. So if there would have been a very strong mangrove cover on the coastline, the effect experience would have been less as per my observation. So cutting mangrove forest, exposing your coastlines, filling it up with sand and with cement, and then erecting your building is not going to be a long-term solution. So considering Amphan, to some extent it was natural, and also it could have been reduced if there would have been proper measures. But also I would like to appreciate that the approaching Amphan was very pehle, like very early, told by our meteorological department. So the government was able to vacate people living on the coastlines in kacha houses at a very rapid rate, and many lives were saved. So that's also commendable. And when there is something that is coming at times, like country is right now going through difficult phase on different what we can say forefronts, like there is COVID-19 which is approaching in the country, there is economic slowdown which is experienced all over the world, there is migrants problem which is being faced, and in this situation you still get Amphan. Whatever measures are taken, I think they were commendable, but also there can be improvements. One more last question which I am getting is, in lockdown, animals, birds are enjoying freedom and peace is okay. But what about social and man-habitual animals like stray dog, cats, cows, and many zoo animals? They are in trauma now. How they can cope up with this problem? Okay. Whatever I would be stating on this question is going to be my personal views. First of all, about zoo animals. Having their breeding centers, keeping them in captivity for some scientific reasons is a different thing. Like, for example, you must have heard about northern white rhinos. Last two females are living in the world, and some genes of the Sudan, there was a one white rhino named Sudan, have been preserved in the laboratory, and they are going to try out if they can make an embryo from it and if they could bring back the species to Earth. Keeping animals in zoo. We need to analyze, why are we keeping animals in zoo? Are animals made for our entertainment? Are animals a medium of entertainment? Is going in a zoo something like spending your qualitative time, or would you rather prefer going and seeing animals in forest, which is more probabilistic or which is more chance based? Don't make animals or don't force animals to be seen in front of you. Yeah, having their breeding centers, having captivity centers for some scientific research, for making sure that these species or these endangered animals don't extinct at a faster rate is a different thing. But we need to analyze the purpose behind having zoos. And when we are considering about stray dogs, cats, cows, um, stray dogs and cats, I would suggest that in some of the reports very long back I had read that due to rapid urbanization and a rapid increasing population levels, the stray dogs have lost anything called as breeding seasons, so their population is increasing at a very high rate. So we need to also look into this problem. And also, while considering stray dogs, yes, your concern is definitely very humane in nature. There are various organizations who are working through the lockdown, who are trying to connect to people, and they are asking for funds through which they are going to buy food, and this food, that is the pet food, is being given to the stray dogs and cats. So I guess when we are talking about rebooting nature, pet animals are to be looked with a different perspective. I hope that answers your question. So yeah, I guess it's only 4 minutes to 7. And anything else, if anyone wants to ask, any other suggestions you would want to know, how you can connect more to wildlife. Also, I would like to tell you that nature environment is for us, and humans are dispensable. It's not going to stop. Like all other animals, one day humans are also going to get extinct. So we need to get this fact fixed in our mind. There's a question coming in which asks me about, are pets vulnerable to corona in COVID positive patients' houses? Okay. While answering this question, I would first suggest, rather than we talking about, like I answering this question, whether your pets are vulnerable to COVID-19 infections, it would be good if some epidemiologist or if some virologist or if some microbiologist answers these questions. Because I am not one who is into scientific readings about viruses and who is corona going to mutate itself and then again transit from humans to pet animals. But definitely you should get into touch with some microbiologist or virologist who is able to answer this. Because till now, at least I haven't read any report or any article which says that because there were COVID infected patients in the house, even the pet got infected. So it would be good if you ask some of them. But yeah, there were some reports which came from USA and which suggested that there was COVID-19, which was coronavirus, which was detected in one tiger in the Bronx Zoo in US, and many of the people, many of the animals in the zoo got infected because of it. But the impact of the infections or the effect of the infections which was observed on animals was very low compared to humans. So definitely get into touch with some microbiologist who would be able to answer this question. Yeah. That's it. Anything else which you would like to comment, or should I stop the live session? And of course, you will be able to view this live session or recommend it to any of your relatives, friends, acquaintances later on as well. It would be available on Nature Walk Charitable Trust page, Nature Walk Outdoors page, and even Vada Sabha SP College. I never knew that. Do you think our okay one of the okay, do you think our society's sense toward nature is lowered? I wouldn't comment by saying that yes, the sense is lowered, but I would definitely say that we are neglecting it somewhere. Like every one of us has this sense that if you travel on vehicles, if you use your anything like pollution, whatever is causing pollution, more machines, it's going to lead to environment pollution. But definitely this sense is there, but we need to bring it in implementation. Implementation needs to be done. We all have this sense, but let's make this sense come in our actions, in our daily course, daily life as well. And if all the humans on the earth together have this, we can definitely make it a good this thing. Yeah, thank you so much, and it was great talking over here, and thank you Vatsabha for giving me this platform. Thank you. Hope you all are safe. Stay home, stay safe, and happy quarantine.